Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Have you ever felt like, like you're stuck? Stuck in a world that tells you who you are and what you can do and even who you can love? Well, today we're diving into a YA fantasy novel that tackles those feelings head on.
Oh, I like that.
It's Allison Saft's Wings of Starlight.
Ooh, Wings of Starlight. Okay.
Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future deep dives. You can find a link to buy the book down in the description. This story takes place in the beloved Disney Fairies universe, Pixie Hollow.
Oh, I love that.
But trust me, this is not your childhood fairy tale.
Okay.
It's so much more. It's about challenging authority, finding your voice, and learning that sometimes the most beautiful magic comes from breaking the rules.
Interesting. What's really intriguing about Wings of Starlight is that Saft takes this, familiar, even whimsical setting and layers in this complex world with a very real sense of history and politics.
Okay, so let's unpack this world a bit. We're in Pixie Hollow, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows here.
Yeah.
The warm season, so spring, summer, and autumn, they all exist alongside winter.
Okay.
They're all magically connected to the pixie dust tree, which is like the lifeblood of their world. But there's this strict separation between the warm and cold fairies.
It's not even just about temperature. Saft actually uses this magical limitation to represent, deeper societal divisions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the warm fairies literally can't withstand winter's chill and vice versa.
Really?
It makes you immediately think, why? What happened in the past that created this, this fear and separation?
That's such a good question. And that question actually leads us right to our main character, Clarion. She's about to be crowned Queen of Pixie Hollow, and she's a governing talent fairy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which means her magic should revolve around things like, light manipulation and teleportation.
That makes sense.
Pretty essential skills for a queen, right?
Right, yeah, you would think.
But she's struggling to master them. And I think that struggle really symbolizes a bigger internal conflict that's going on.
Absolutely. It's like Clarion's yearning for winter, for something beyond this carefully controlled world. Like Elvina, her mentor and the current queen, has created, it's almost like this unspoken rebellion brewing right beneath the surface.
And that rebellion is actually sparked by this mysterious creature that Clarion encounters.
Okay.
And it draws her to the Winter Woods, which is like strictly off limits.
Oh, no.
I know, right?
Forbidden.
Forbidden. And despite direct orders from Elvina, she seeks out Milori, the Warden of the Winter Woods.
This is where Saft is so skillful. She, blends this personal conflict with the larger world building. Clarion's defiance, her attraction to the forbidden. It almost foreshadows her willingness to, challenge the status quo later on.
Oh, I see.
It makes you question whether Elvina's keep things separate approach is really the best,
Right. And then things get, really intense.
Uh-oh. What happens?
These terrifying creatures called nightmares, they start attacking Pixie Hollow.
Nightmares, actual nightmares.
Yeah. And Elvina is convinced that winter is the source of the problem, so she wants to sever the bridge between the realms.
Oh, wow.
But Clarion, especially after meeting Milori, she's not so sure. Especially when she's sensing this distrust that Milori has towards Elvina.
That raises a really big question for both Clarion and the reader, Who do you trust when the people in power are keeping secrets?
That's true.
Clarion's having to rely on, her intuition, her gut feeling that something just isn't right.
Yeah.
But how do you follow your gut when it goes against everything you've been taught?
That's such a powerful dilemma. And it's something I think a lot of people can relate to, even outside the realm of fairies and magic.
Absolutely. And this distrust just grows, because Milori hints that Elvina isn't being truthful about the history of the realms and their connection to these nightmares.
Oh, so now she's questioning everything.
Right. Not only is Clarion questioning authority, but she's questioning the very foundation of her world's history.
And as she starts on this quest to uncover the truth about the nightmares, with Milori's help, she stumbles upon these fascinating details about the history of Pixie Hollow and the power of dreams.
Okay.
Remember those dream talent fairies we mentioned?
Yeah.
They actually played a much bigger role than we initially thought.
Really?
They used to weave good dreams into the pixie dust tree, essentially protecting it from nightmares.
So they were like guardians.
Exactly.
Interesting. So what happened?
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
Okay, I'm ready. So they were like guardians. Interesting. So what happened? What happened to the dream talent fairies?
That's a great question, and it's a question that Clarion sets out to answer, She's determined to uncover the truth about the nightmares.
Okay, yeah.
And what's What's really fascinating is how her journey into the heart of winter kind of mirrors her own internal journey.
Oh, how sis.
She's like literally stepping into this world that's forbidden to her, a world that's shrouded in mystery and danger.
I see, yeah.
And it's in this forbidden world that she makes this crucial discovery.
Oh.
She finds this ancient book hidden deep within the Hall of Winter.
An ancient book. What kind of book?
It's this magically bound book that holds the key to understanding the nightmares.
Wow. So does it, like, tell them how to defeat them or something?
Sort of. It reveals that they're not just monsters, they're actually manifestations
Right.
of children's nightmares.
Oh, wow. That's pretty creepy.
Right, and it gets even creepier. These nightmares have been given form and power.
Given form and power. By what?
Well, that's part of the mystery that Clarion has to unravel.
I see. So it's not just like some random evil force. It's connected to something real, something human.
Exactly. This revelation adds a whole new layer of depth to the story. It connects the nightmares to something deeply human, deeply primal, our fears.
That's deep. It suggests that the darkness isn't some external force, but something that resides within us all.
You got it. It's like Saft is saying we all have nightmares, right? Both literally and metaphorically. It's what we do with those nightmares, how we confront them or choose to ignore them, that defines us.
I like that. I like that a lot. So what does the book say about how to deal with these nightmares?
Well, it explains that there used to be a system in place.
Okay.
The dream talent fairies would gather them up, weave them into the pixie dust tree.
They'd weave nightmares into the pixie dust tree.
Yeah. And that's where they would be contained and neutralized. It was a delicate balance, a responsibility that they shouldered for the safety of both realms.
That makes sense. It's like a checks and balances system for dreams.
So what went wrong? Why are the nightmares running loose?
That's the million-dollar question. Something happened. The dream talents abandoned their duty, leaving the pixie dust tree vulnerable.
They just abandoned their duty. Why would they do that?
It's not entirely clear. That's something else that Clarion has to figure out.
Oh, wow. So the nightmares escaped, wreaked havoc, and then what? What happened to them? Well, eventually they were imprisoned deep within the Winter Woods.
Okay, so they're contained again.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
But the threat is still there. And this detail, the dream talents abandoning their duty, it's so crucial. It ties into that theme of responsibility.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, the nightmares aren't just a random threat. They're a consequence of past mistakes, of ignoring difficult truths.
Right.
It's like this cautionary tale about the dangers of complacency and denial.
That's heavy stuff. And this realization about the dream talents and the nightmares, it puts Clarion in a really tough spot, doesn't it?
Absolutely. She's not only tasked with understanding the nightmares, but she also learns that she's the key to destroying them.
Wait, she's the key.
Her magic being born from Starlight.
Starlight.
It's essentially their kryptonite.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. But wait a minute. Didn't you say earlier that she couldn't even control her magic?
Right. She's struggling with even the most basic governing talent skills. And now she has to harness enough power to destroy these terrifying creatures.
She's completely in over her head. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. She's a young fairy about to become queen, and the fate of both realms rests on her shoulders.
It's a daunting task, but she's determined. She wants to save Pixie Hollow, the Winter Woods, even if it means facing her fears and pushing herself beyond her limits.
That's pretty inspiring. She doesn't shy away from the challenge. She embraces it. She even convinces Elvina to let her try. And considering how controlling Elvina is, that's a big deal.
It's a real turning point for her. She's not that hesitant, uncertain fairy we met at the beginning of the story.
Right.
She's finding her voice, her strength, her willingness to stand up for what she believes in, even if it means defying authority.
So she goes after the nightmares.
She does. And that scene where she crosses into winter to confront them with Milori.
Yeah.
Oh, it's breathtaking.
Really?
Saft's descriptions are so vivid. You can practically feel the cold, the fear, the anticipation.
Wow. I bet it's like super intense.
It is. And then that moment when Clarion unleashes her Starlight magic for the first time against the nightmares. Oh, the imagery. It's so powerful. It's like this burst of pure light cutting through the darkness.
It sounds amazing.
It is. But while it's exhilarating to see Clarion finally tap into her power, destroying the nightmares proves to be a lot more difficult than she anticipated. She realizes it's not just about brute force, it's about understanding, like, the source of their power.
The source, which
The
is...
fear that fuels them.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about fighting them, it's about understanding them.
Exactly. And it's through this struggle that Clarion experiences real growth. She learns that true strength isn't about always being in control. It's about facing your weaknesses, your doubts, and finding the courage to push forward even when you're afraid.
So she's not just learning how to fight the nightmares, she's learning about herself.
Exactly. And this theme of facing your fears is mirrored in her relationship with Milori.
Oh, I see. So their love, which at first felt forbidden and dangerous, it becomes a source of strength for both of them.
Yeah. And their scenes together are they're so tender and heartwarming. It's clear that they find solace in each other, this sense of belonging that they haven't found anywhere else.
It sounds like their love story isn't just a side plot, it's like woven into the very fabric of the story.
Yes, exactly. It reinforces those themes of breaking down barriers and challenging the status quo. But just as their bond deepens, just as they start to see a glimmer of hope for their future together, things change.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Clarion, she uncovers this devastating truth about Elvina, a plan that could destroy the Winter Woods and everything Milori holds dear.
What? Elvina has a plan to destroy the Winter Woods. Why?
That's what Clarion has to find out.
Yeah.
And this revelation throws her into turmoil. She's forced to make this impossible choice.
What kind of choice?
Follow orders, betray her heart, or defy authority and risk everything she's ever known.
Wow, that's a tough one. Duty versus her heart. What a classic dilemma.
It is. It's that battle between duty and personal conviction. And it forces the reader to ask themselves, what would I do in this situation? Where does my loyalty lie?
Yeah, makes you really think. So what does Clarion do?
Well, as she's grappling with this decision, she uncovers even more secrets. Secrets about Elvina's past, the history of the Starlight Blade, the sacrifices made by those who came before her. The truth is so much more complex than she ever imagined.
Wow, so it's like peeling back layers of an onion.
Exactly. With every revelation, the story just becomes richer, more intricate, more emotionally charged.
And the nightmares, are they still a threat?
Oh, absolutely. The threat looms larger than ever, and Clarion's struggle to control her magic takes a toll on both her and Milori.
So the stakes are getting higher.
They are. Much higher. And then the climax of the story arrives.
What happens?
The nightmares, they attack the coronation ball, and everything explodes. It's chaotic, heart-stopping. Clarion's pushed to her absolute limit, both physically and emotionally. She's fighting not just for survival, but for everything she holds dear.
It sounds intense.
It is. And the final confrontation with the nightmare dragon. Oh my goodness. Talk about epic.
It's a dragon.
Yeah, a nightmare dragon. It's this monstrous creature, the embodiment of all fear and destruction.
Wow.
And it's a battle for the ages, this showdown that will leave you breathless. And it's in this moment, facing impossible odds, that Clarion finally understands what it truly means to wield her power. It's not about control, it's about letting go, embracing her emotions, her fears, her love, and channeling them into this force that can shatter the darkness.
That's incredible. So she finally defeats the nightmares.
Well, we'll have to wait until part 3 to find out.
So she finally defeats the nightmares.
Yeah, she does. That confrontation with the nightmare dragon was something else. The way Saft described it, this monstrous embodiment of fear and destruction, it was chilling. Clarion was facing, like, impossible odds. You know, not just fighting for her own survival, but for the future of both Pixie Hollow and the Winter Woods.
It really was a test of her strength and her courage, and we see how far she's come. I mean, remember how she struggled to even summon the simplest light? Now she's tapping into this power source that's raw, emotional, and deeply connected to her love for Milori and her people.
And that's what I found so powerful about this scene. It wasn't just about Clarion, mastering her magic. It was about her, like, understanding its true nature.
Right.
Remember, Milori had observed earlier that her magic was strongest when it was fueled by her desire to protect others.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And that's exactly what we see here. It's not cold, calculated control. It's this pure, selfless love and courage that she channels into this devastating wave of starlight that just obliterates the dragon.
It's a really cathartic moment, not just for Clarion, I think, but for the reader too. We've witnessed her struggle, her self-doubt, and now we see her, like, fully embrace her potential, not just as a queen, but as this powerful force for good in the world.
I get chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, this victory, it comes at a price.
Yeah.
Clarion's severely injured.
Oh, no.
And the only way to save her life is to bring her back to the warmth of Pixie Hollow,
Oh, right.
a place where Milori, as a winter fairy, can't follow.
This is where Saft breaks our hearts. It's just when Clarion and Milori have confessed their feelings, when it seems like, like there might be a chance for them to bridge the divide between their worlds, fate steps in.
I know. It's so tragic. And that scene where they say goodbye at the border between the seasons. Oh, it's filled with such raw emotion. You can feel the depth of their love, the pain of separation, the weight of the choices they have to make.
And what's particularly poignant is that Milori, he makes the ultimate sacrifice. He knows that staying with Clarion in the warm seasons, it would mean his death. His wings would literally melt away.
Right.
But he chooses to save her life, even if it means losing her.
It's the most selfless act of love imaginable. And while Clarion is devastated, she understands his decision. She chooses to honor his sacrifice by stepping into her role as queen, knowing that he'll always hold this special place in her heart.
It's a bittersweet ending, but it's full of hope, Clarion, she doesn't crumble under the weight of her grief and responsibility. She embraces her role as queen, determined to lead with compassion, courage, and a commitment to bridging that divide between the realms.
And what's so remarkable is that she doesn't just become queen, she redefines what it means to be queen.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
She doesn't isolate winter out of fear. She embraces it. She appoints Milori as the Lord of Winter, a position that hasn't been held for centuries.
That's such a powerful symbol of her commitment to change. Her refusal to repeat the mistakes of the past. She's learned from Elvina's, her secrecy and her fear-based leadership. And she chooses to forge a new path based on trust and collaboration, a recognition that true strength lies in unity, not division.
It's a powerful message, especially, I think, for young readers. Wings of Starlight isn't just a whimsical fairy tale. It's a story about finding your voice, challenging the status quo, fighting for what you believe in, even when it's hard.
And it reminds us that love can exist in the most unexpected places, that even in the face of loss and separation, hope and connection, they can endure.
So what did you think of Clarion's journey, listeners? What moment resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please share it with your friends and fellow book lovers. Until next time, keep exploring those worlds of imagination.